and fellows of his college, who had, in testimony of their approbation, presented him with a silver fish slice on which his name figured at the head of a laudatory inscription in some semi-barbarous dialect of Anglo-Saxonized Latin. His fellow students, however, who drove tandem and random in great perfection, and were connoisseurs in good inns, had taught him to drink deep ere he departed. He had passed much of his time with these choice spirits, and had seen the rays of the midnight lamp tremble on many a lengthening file of empty bottles. He passed his vacations sometimes at Nightmare Abbey, sometimes in London, at the house of his uncle, Mr. Hilary, a very cheerful and elastic gentleman, who had married the sister of the melancholy Mr. Glowry. The company that frequented his house was the gayest of the gay. Sithrop danced with the ladies and drank with the gentlemen, and was pronounced by both a very accomplished, charming fellow, and an honor to the university. At the house of Mr. Hilary, Sithrop first saw the beautiful Miss Emily Girouette. He fell in love, which is nothing new. He was favorably received, which is nothing strange. Mr. Glowry and Mr. Girouette had a meeting on the occasion, and quarreled about the terms of the bargain, which is neither new nor strange. The lovers were torn asunder, weeping and vowing everlasting constancy, and in 3 weeks after this tragical event, the lady was led a smiling bride to the altar by the Honorable Mr. Lackwit, which is neither strange nor new. Sithrop received this intelligence at Nightmare Abbey, and was half distracted on the occasion. It was his first disappointment, and preyed deeply on his sensitive spirit. His father, to comfort him, read him a commentary on Ecclesiastes, which he had himself composed, and which demonstrated incontrovertibly that all is vanity. He insisted particularly on the text, "One man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman amongst all those have I not found." "How could he expect it," said Sithrop, "when the whole 1,000 were locked up in his seraglio? His experience is no precedent for a free state of society like that in which we live." "Locked up or at large," said Mr. Glowry, "the result is the same. Their minds are always locked up, and vanity and interest keep the key. I speak feelingly, Sithrop." "I am sorry for it, sir," said Sithrop. "But how is it that their minds are locked up? The fault is in their artificial education, which studiously models them into mere musical dolls, to be set out for sale in the great toy shop of society." "To be sure," said Mr. Glowry, "their education is not so well finished as yours has been, and your idea of a musical doll is good. I bought one myself, but it was confoundedly out of tune. But whatever be the cause, Sithrop, the effect is certainly this, that one is pretty nearly as good as another, as far as any judgment can be formed of them before marriage. It is only after marriage that they show their true qualities, as I know by bitter experience. Marriage is, therefore, a lottery, and the less choice and selection a man bestows on his ticket, the better. For if he has incurred considerable pains and expense to obtain a lucky number, and his lucky number proves a blank, he experiences not a simple but a complicated disappointment, the loss of labor and money being superadded to the disappointment of drawing a blank, which, constituting simply and entirely the grievance of him who has chosen his ticket at random, is, from its simplicity, the more endurable." This very excellent reasoning was thrown away upon Sithrop, who retired to his tower as dismal and disconsolate as before. The tower which Sithrop inhabited stood at the southeastern angle of the abbey, and on the southern side the foot of the tower opened on a terrace, which was called the garden, though nothing grew on it but ivy and a few amphibious weeds. The southwestern tower, which was ruinous and full of owls, might with equal propriety have been called the aviary.